Hello, 5-6, and welcome to term 4. Can't believe how fast it's going. And welcome to our topic lesson. We are still looking at our big question on how can we make our voices heard. Okay, so let me just share my screen for you, and we can begin. Bear with me. Here we go. So, how do we make our voices heard? Now, before we move to more current times, I thought it'd be really beneficial to link in ancient Greece, okay? Because that's what we looked at in so much detail last term, okay? So just have a think. What did you learn about last term in regards to ancient Greece? Okay, so we looked at many things, but the biggest thing was democracy. Okay, how were ancient Greeks' voices heard through democracy? So we looked at all the way from birth to when they became adults. Who had a voice, who didn't? Okay, today we're going to be looking at key figures in ancient Greece. Okay, and how their voices were heard. Okay, so before we look at current day and even including our voices, let's look at key figures in ancient Greece and how their voices were heard. Let's have a look. So, first of all, in your books, okay, I would like you to match, okay, the key vocabulary on the left here to its definition on the right. So I would write, for example, philosopher, and then if you can figure out what the definition is on the right, then just write that definition next to it. So pause the video and write your definition. Okay, excellent. So you should have one of these definitions next to each piece of key vocabulary. Now, we're not going to reveal the answers just yet, but at the end of the lesson, okay, we will go through the answer. We're going to reveal this page again, and then you can see if your answers were correct or if you need to change them a little bit. Okay, so leave that there, and you will come back to it at the end. So, what is philosophy? Okay, the reason philosophy is very important today because all three of our key figures that we are looking at today, the important people we are looking at today, all studied philosophy. Okay, so ancient Greeks thought deeply about the world and about people, asking questions such as, "What is a good life? How can we know anything for sure?" Okay. So philosophers had many questions and so found different ways for their voices to be heard. Okay, so philosophy is the study of life, nature, truth, and other important news. Okay, and that's why we generate such questions. So first of all, the first philosopher we are going to look at is Socrates. Now he lived between 469 to 399 BC. Okay, remember, if you want to put down notes at any point to help you with the questions later, you can pause the video at any point. Okay, Socrates was known as the father of the Western philosophy. Okay, and you may know the term Socratic method. That was taken from the methods he used of questioning. Okay, Socrates believed in the importance of discussion, debate, and argument. Okay, so that gives us our first bit of key vocabulary: debate, a discussion between two or more groups who disagree on a topic. Okay, Socrates was so important because he believed arguing was key when learning new things. He would challenge many laws and ways of thinking that he thought wasn't the right way. So a question to yourself that I would like you to pause the video and write the answer to: are there any rules or laws or ways of life that you would like to challenge if you could, but maybe you think you can't at the moment? Okay, are there any rules, laws, or ways of life just that you would like to challenge? So when I say ways of life, that's things where when you ask that question maybe to a parent, a carer, a teacher, and you say, why not? And they say, oh, that's just the way it is. Okay, is there anything that you would like to challenge? Okay, let's move on. Socrates, okay, his ideas were seen to be very radical at the time, okay, because he disagreed with how democracy worked, okay. He was accused of corrupting the minds of young Athenians. He was seen as disrespectful to the leaders of the land and the gods, and he questioned democracy and their ways of living. So Socrates believed that not everyone should have a voice, and that only people who are well educated and wise should have a voice. Okay. Socrates was accused of corrupting the mind, okay, with his radical views, and as a result, he was sentenced to death by drinking poison, okay, and he had to drink his own poison. So a question to you, is this similar to today? Is there anything that we are not allowed to disagree with, that we are not allowed to speak up about? Pause the video and just put down your answer. Okay, let's move on. I have a question here for you. What was Socrates accused of? And then if you can pause the video and put your answer in the book. Socrates was accused of... Okay, excellent. So you should have put Socrates was accused of sort of corrupting the minds of the younger generation, okay, and his radical views. If you've got anything similar, then that is correct. Well done, okay. So that's our first key figure. Now, you can research Socrates even further. We could do weeks and weeks on Socrates, but the key part today was that he had a voice, and he liked to use his voice through debate, through argument, through challenging the leaders. Okay, that is what is really important. Okay, let's have a look at our next key figure today, Plato. So Plato was actually a student of Socrates. He was interested in ideals of justice and happiness, which we still use today. Plato wrote books in the form of a dialogue. Okay, and that brings us to our next big part of key vocabulary. Dialogue is a conversation that is written for a book, play, or film. Plato wanted Socrates' voice to be heard as much as his own, and so he wrote down their conversations as much as possible. Now, Plato loved to disagree with things that Socrates said. Okay, so again, he was very keen on debates, and he wanted to challenge the way people learned things. So Plato set up his own academy, okay, in which the learners were in control. They asked questions and often had heated debates on subjects they were unsure of. So, is this similar to how learning is in schools today? Or can you see any differences? Are the learners in control, or are you given the stuff you have to learn about? Are you allowed to question as many things as what was probably allowed in Plato's academy? Pause the video, have a think. Okay, brilliant. Now we are going to move on to our final philosopher today, key figure, Aristotle. So, unlike Socrates and Plato, Aristotle's, sorry, bear with me on here. Here we go. Live in action editing. Unlike Socrates and Plato, Aristotle preferred to write in detail. Did you know he was highly skilled in writing, and he became a tutor to Plato's son? You may have heard of Plato's son, because Plato's son was in fact Alexander the Great. Okay, so what I want you to do, okay, if you are watching this from home, I would like you to pause the video and scan, okay, I would like you to scan this QR code. And on this QR code, okay, will be extra information on our final key figure, Aristotle, okay? Now, if you are unable to find a device such as an iPhone, an iPad, or Android to scan the QR code, don't worry at all. If you simply type into YouTube, okay, key page 2, okay, if you type that into YouTube, then the video you need will appear, okay? So if I go, I'm going to go onto it as well, so then you will just be extra clear on what I typed in. So key stage 2, Aristotle. And you'll be able to see here, it's the very top video. This one here, the very top video. Aristotle biography for kids. Okay, so I'll type it here just so we are clear. If you cannot find that link, it is Aristotle Bio for Kids on YouTube. Okay, excellent. Once you've done that and you've watched the video, okay, move on to the next page. So you should have watched the video on Aristotle. So I would now like you to write and answer this question. Aristotle was a student of, that's right, Aristotle was a student of Plato. And who was a student of Aristotle? That's right, it was a student, it was Alexander the Great was one of the many students of Aristotle. So, why were these three men important? Well, Socrates, he used his voice to speak out and encouraged others to do so. Plato saw the benefits of debate and discussion, resulting in an academy dedicated to him. Aristotle learned through careful observation and writing things down. Let's have a look at our page that we started the lesson with. Are your answers the same, or can you improve on your answers? Okay, when you're uploading to Dojo, please show these improvements. We do love to see where we started and where we finish at the end. Okay, brilliant. So you should have had a look, compared your answers from the beginning and made your corrections. Finally, pause the video and have a go at this quiz. So if you write the question and then write your answer. When you come back, we will go through the answers. Okay, brilliant. So let's look here first. A philosopher, okay, a philosopher is someone who studies philosophy, okay, and it's someone who, it comes from the Greek word, who's someone who has a passion, a love for learning. So philosopher is someone who studies philosophy. Philosophy is the study of life, nature, truth, and other important matters. Debate is a discussion between two or more people or groups who disagree on a topic. And dialogue is a conversation that is written for a book, play, or film. What is philosophy? As we said before, the study of nature of life, truth, knowledge, and other important human matters. Which philosopher is referred to as the father of Western philosophy? We knew it. The father of Western philosophy was Socrates. And what was Socrates accused of? He was accused of corrupting the minds of young Athenians. Okay, excellent. So, thank you very much for joining me. 5-6, and I will be sending out a video for next week, which hopefully, fingers crossed, will be our final home learning video, because we will be back in school. Okay, please message if you had any questions, but you've been doing so well with the topic videos so far. Keep it up. Okay, speak soon.